Hi guys, Jenny here. As you may or may not know, I recently collaborated with a few other Australian YouTubers and we ran a Made in Australia cal. I wanted to come up with something fairly unique for that crochet along, so I decided to crochet an emu. Did I have a pattern? No. I only had a picture to go off and a few little ideas in my head. So grab your work in progress and sit back and crochet with me while I navigate my journey with this design. It was a lot of fun, but it might be interesting for you to check it out. So sit back and enjoy my process of making Ed the Emu. Hello, if you are seeing this video, that means that I did indeed decide to go with the good old emu. Now, I've just been sitting here this morning doing a little bit of research, and I think I'm going to try and base my pattern from one photo in particular, which I will have here for you now. I'm having a look at my yarn stash, and in order to try and sort of replicate that, I think I'm going to have to work with a number of different yarns here. I don't know if it's going to work. I really don't know. So if this, your guess is as good as mine. I'm hopeful that it will work though. And now, what I do think I'm planning to use is this Otis Faux yarn. It's from Spotlight. It's the Modavera brand, and it is 100% polyester. So I think that that's going to work well for the main body of the emu. I may use a little bit of this Bernat blanket, which, has a few different greys in it. Now, in the picture, you will have perhaps noticed there that there is a little bit of blue on the neck of the emu. So I have some blue blanket yarn that might work for that. And the beak, I'm going to do in solid black. So I do think it'll look good with a glossier chenille, but I just don't know if it'll be a little bit too thin. So I will either use this black blanket yarn that I got in, well, it's a slightly thinner than a blanket. It's probably more comparable to Premier Basics chenille. I got that in a mill-end bag at Spotlight, and I have just caked that up this morning. So I think, but this is a work in progress, and I will have hopefully documented it along the way. You can see my little picture here that that's my little guide, and I've put a few little comments there just to remind me what colours I plan to do. So yeah, I have no idea. If it's going to work. I don't want to make it too big, particularly as I don't know if it's going to work out. So we might just wing it, hey? We might just see how we go. So I'll pop in and out and show you my progress along the way, but wish me luck. Time for an update. Now, I've done what will be the first prototype of the head, because I'm not entirely happy with it. Okay, so here it is. Number one, I've decided I don't want to use safety eyes. I'm going to embroider them on. Number two, I think I'm not unhappy with the shape. I'm not unhappy with the shape. I'm quite okay with that. I do think that the beak needs to be longer, so I'm going to do extra rows of the black. As I said, I will embroider the eyes rather than use safety eyes. I had initially hoped that I could work from the beak up and around and then continue into the neck, but the shaping was, no, that was a bit too hard for my brain. So what I will do is do the beak and the head and then when I remake it a second time, assuming I'm happy with it, I will then do some surface crochet along here to add my stitches, and then I will work from that down the neck. That's what I have in my head anyway. We will see if it actually works, but I think yeah, in my head it works, so we will see. For now I will go back to the drawing board and remake this head and see if I prefer that. So let's do it. Alrighty, one more little check-in. I have just finished the second head, which I think I'm pretty happy with. I do need to embroider the eyes on, but I think I like it better than the first head. The beak is a little bit longer. I did end up doing a couple of extra rounds, but it's hard to say without the rest of his body attached to him, but I think so far so good. I'm going to have a break because it's a little bit hot and I just need a break from it. So I will actually, I don't even know if I will embroider the eyes on yet, because I might just keep working on him and make sure I'm happy with it before I go ahead and do that. But this is where we are up to currently. I'll see you soon. Good morning. Clearly we are onto a new day. I thought I would update you on where I'm up to with the emu. Now, this morning I surface crocheted some stitches onto the bottom of the head, and then I have just continued working from there. Now, one thing I hadn't considered, which I thought of late yesterday, was that his neck, I needed something to give his neck some stability. So I've got this one stuck in here now, but it's just a foam hair roller that you can get, well, in Australia here, you can get it from, Kmart, a junk shop, something like that. And that's working really well in regards to, keeping it straight. I'm just, I am really winging this. I've not made anything like this before. So particularly he's going to turn out bigger than I thought as well, but you've got to obviously keep it all in proportion. Now, I'm only going to continue until I cover the roller. I'm not going to do anything too crazy, but I think what I will do is when I get to that, I'll stop. I'm not going to fasten off or anything, because I think I'll just be making his body separately. Now that's a more of a challenging shape in order to try and get the right shape, you know, and more authentic shape, I guess, for his body. So yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting. But yeah, I will leave him. He doesn't even have any stuffing in his neck so far. It's just all that roller. But of course I will add some stuffing so that I can keep the roller exactly where I want it. But you know, I'm pretty happy so far. I just really hope that the body comes together how I want it to. Something else I did forget, and I was so annoyed at myself, but I had mentioned that he does have, you know, in the pictures that I've been looking at, they do have a little bit of blue here, and I've got blue blanket yarn, so I intended to work that in, but I forgot. And to be honest, even though it's not far, I don't want to go back and frog it, because whilst I've been writing down stitches as I go as to what I've been doing, it's possible that I haven't got it exactly right. So I don't want to, I'm happy with this, so I don't want to undo it. So my thoughts are, if not today, maybe another day, I might head to Spotlight or something and see if I can get some blue, either like a faux fur or an eyelash type yarn, and then I can just sort of attach it on here, and I actually think it'll look pretty good anyway. I also want to get some black for up here, but that's the plan. So I just thought I would show you where I'm up to. As I said, this body, the body is going to be challenging because according to my lovely drawing here, you know, like, yeah, there's a lot of shape there. So I don't know whether to start here and work back, or to start here and work down. I don't know. I'm thinking I'll start there and work back. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's definitely giving me a challenge. So yeah, let's see how we go. I'll do another check-in excuse me, when I have a little bit more to show you. Alrighty, update time. Now, I did start with a magic ring. I frogged it twice, actually. I frogged it one time. I still thought that I just needed to start with more single crochets in the magic ring. So I did that, but then just figured it just wasn't working. So I decided to start with a chain and then work around it. So I'm now working from the base of the emu up, essentially. I really hope it's going to work out because, you know, putting a lot of effort into this, and crocheting with this faux fur yarn is no mean feat. Having said that, this brand, the Otis Faux, I find for a fluffy yarn, I find it quite easy to work with in regards to finding your stitches. So if you can see there, the black bit there, that is fairly thick, and it makes it really quite easy to feel your stitches. So if you haven't used it and you're in Australia and you want to try faux fur yarn, I do recommend this Motivera brand. Anyway, it's actually so soft. Can you see how thick it is? It's great. So I chained 26, I think, and then I've just been sort of working around. I actually stopped taking notes because I just wanted to make it So I'm basically just doing some increases when I get to the ends, like, you know, depending on how I feel the shape is looking. I have just done my round where I work into the front loops only so that I can start to now come up, and finding just only the one loop wasn't too bad. I was a bit worried it was going to be hard with this yarn, but it wasn't too bad. So now I should be able to start coming up and then work it out from there. I mean, I think it's going to be difficult to get the exact shape right unless I do a couple of different parts and sew it together, but I don't know. Either way, I'm happy with that. Oh, if you could feel it, it's so soft. I absolutely love it so far. And I think it's going to work out. I certainly hope, because I really don't want this to all be for nothing. So, and I don't want this footage to become just deleted. So anyway, I'm actually going to duck out to Spotlight now because the sale is still on, and I want to see if I can grab some of that yarn that's going to work with this pattern. So yeah, that's the only yarn I will be looking for. Let's see what I come home with, because I have actually also done 2 online orders this week. So, but it's for specific projects, and if you know, you know. Yes, there is a lot of yarn here. I know, but it's all for different projects. So anyway, that's enough justifying. I will duck out now and I'll let you know how I go. Alrighty. Okay, I have returned from Spotlight. Got a bit of hat hair happening because when I got home I finally washed my car, which is very long overdue, and it's quite hot, so I have my hat on. Now, I grabbed a few things. I didn't go overboard. I would say I wasn't able to get what I had in mind, but I think it will work, what I ended up grabbing anyway. So this is, the yarn is called, it's the same brand as this, and it's called Flurry, and it looks like fairly thin eyelash yarn. I would have loved it in blue for the chest, but they didn't have it. But it's black and white and silver or grey, and it was reduced. I'm not sure how much it was originally, but it was, it actually says it was originally $13, and there's no way in the world I would pay $13 for that, but it was reduced to $5. So that I do think is going to work to give him some hair, if you like, up the top there. Yeah, unfortunately no blue, but what I did get, and it might not work at all, it's not the exact right colour, but I think it'll be okay. I got some of this tinsel yarn. I grabbed some before Christmas and I didn't really end up doing too much with it, but I didn't have this colour, excuse me. But I think a little bit of that on, where is he? Here he is. A little bit of that, I think, just surface crocheted into the front here, I think will look okay. And anyway, there was nothing else to choose from, so I had to go with something. So I went with that. We will see. And just anyway, back to old mate Emu. Oh goodness, there is a lot going on here. It's very, very messy. I'm glad you can't see it. I'm gonna crochet away and build this guy up a little bit more and see how I'm going with the shaping, and then I will pop back. Oh, I feel like I might have missed a stitch there. There is a little bit of a hole, only slight. Oh, actually I can fix that easily. Yeah, easily. All right, I'll be back. Hi. Okay, so I think we are actually a couple of days down the track now. I have been doing a little bit on this project, but not recording it, so my apologies there. I'm still not 100% certain it's going to turn out how I imagine, but you know, we are moving along slightly. Now, I think I had mentioned before that I may do it in 2 separate pieces, because I think particularly with this type of yarn and you not being able to see your stitches, trying to get the shape that I needed is just quite difficult. So I decided once I got to a certain height that I would just start decreasing my stitches, and then I eventually closed it up. So I have one what looks a bit like a furry loaf of bread. I have that. And I started with a magic ring and working top down to try and do this second part, or the humpy part. Now, it's definitely not as high as what I would have liked. And in all honesty, I probably should frog it and start again. But I don't really want to. I think with some extra polyfill and everything, I can make this go up a little higher. And I've just been playing around with where to put it, but I just need to sew that extra bit on. I don't know if you can see my vision where it's going, but yeah, as I said, I'm not really 100% happy with it, but I'm hoping that once I start sewing it together and stuffing it, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get away with it. I do also think that I might use some of this yarn to just, you know, have extra, because I do think it'll look good for kind of the feathers. I don't know. I'm just really hoping that it is going to work out, because there's a lot of work in what I've done and I really don't want it to have been for nothing. And it was making my hands sore actually because of the amount that I'd done. But anyway, I might just plug away and start sewing this together and start stuffing it and see if I think it's going to work out. And if that part works out, then I can focus on, you know, what else I need to do at the other end. Maybe add a little bit more onto this section. I'm not sure. I also only have a certain amount of yarn too, so I don't want to end up playing yarn chicken. But let's see how we go. I'll pop back on shortly and let you know how I'm going. Okay, I'm back and I'm happy because it's all in one piece. Now, along here, I don't know if you can see the difference a little bit. It is a little rough, and just in regards to, now with this yarn, hang on, obviously you have the black side there, which is almost like a tape, I guess, which the faux fur is on, and I can see a little bit of the black along there, so I guess it's just the way I've sewn it. I'm not sure, but I'm not too bothered, because I do think I'm going to be able to camouflage it with some of this anyway. So, but the shape, I was able to get in and stuff it pretty well, so I am actually reasonably happy with the shape. Looking back to my little picture here, so you can see it does go quite high, but and then I think using that yarn to get a little bit of this look here. Now, something I do have to do is, they do have 2 small wings, but they are flightless birds, as I have probably mentioned at the beginning. So I guess they're just there for decoration. I don't know why they're there, but they don't fly. So I do need to make the wings. So I think I will do that in this yarn and attach those. Then I need to attach the head, but I can see it coming together. He's definitely much bigger than what I had imagined. So, but he's coming together, and that makes me very, very happy. Yeah, but here I go again. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to get onto the wings. I'm going to sew them on, and then I'm going to consider how I will be attaching the head. After that, there's only the legs to go. So we're getting there. Yay. Time for another update. Now, I did attempt initially to use the faux fur yarn for the wings. I started with 4 single crochet in a magic ring, and I was just going to increase. They only need to be short, but I was finding this is just way too thick. It was too much. So then I actually thought I had a plain grey blanket yarn, because this is all I have left in the variegated, and I want to try and save that for the legs, but I couldn't find it. So then I was thinking, what am I going to do? And I found this. It's just a very pale grey. It's Premier Basics chenille, so it is a bit thinner than a blanket yarn. But what I decided to do was to hold that with some of this. Is this eyelash yarn? I don't know. I think it is. But to hold it with some of that, and that worked well. I had the same idea. I thought I would do my 4 single crochet in a magic ring, and then, but it just, yeah, it was also going to be too thick. So then what I decided to do was just start with 3 chain and work back along in rows, held it together, and I've just got, because they really, I actually think it looks really cute, and I think that's going to help me tie in what I want to do with adding some of that yarn to his body. So I've got to work out exactly where they go, probably there and there. But as I said, these wings don't really do anything, but he has them, so I needed to include them. So I'm very happy with how they turned out. So I'm moving along. I think I might maybe have a break for today. He's so cuddly. I think I might have a break today because I need to record a video for my Year of Granny Squares Cal. Yeah, I just want to have a break from it, and it is hurting my hands a little bit. So take a break. I will get back into it tomorrow sometime, but he's coming along really well, and I'm quite enjoying the process. But I also do want to get it done. I don't want to procrastinate on this project. I want to have him done so that come the 26th of January, well, actually at least a day before, because I want to film my video. But yeah, I just want to have him done. I'm going to want to share him straight away, but I can't. I need to hold off. So yeah, but my vision, I think, is coming to life. I'm not there yet, but I think I'm happy. So yeah, I will check in again tomorrow or when I next get a chance to do a little bit more. Good morning. A small little update before I head out for a bit. I have, excuse me, I have sewn on the wings each side. I'm really happy with how they came out, actually. I wish I had have had enough. You know, I've been looking at a lot of pictures, and there's probably a bit more brown. There should probably be a bit more brown in here, but nevertheless, I think it's still going to turn out okay. I've just added a little bit extra onto the head and worked into the front loops, because I think it'll help me to be able to sew on the head. So I will do that probably when I return from my little outing. And yeah, I think it's going to look okay. And I think I will, I'm not sure whether to do the legs next or to, actually, yeah, I think I'll do the legs next and then add some of this to the body. Now, in lots of pictures, I think if I add a lot of it hanging down, it's going to look quite realistic, as in how their feathers sort of look. So I think that's the plan, but yeah, I think so far so good. I still need to embroider his eyes on as well, but I'll probably will leave that until very, very last, I think. So I'll pop back once I have done this. Hey there. Now, another update. I have sewn the head on and it turned out really well. This little foam insert that I have in there is definitely doing the trick. I mean, it moves a little bit, but that's totally okay. I think it's going to be fine. And whilst, you know, it's pretty obvious, it's pretty in your face, that part there, but I think once I add some of that eyelash yarn, I think it's going to be, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot better. Now I have started on the legs. Sorry about that door banging. I've started on the legs. Now they have 3 toes and the middle one is much longer. So I think this is going to work fine. I don't want it to stand. I don't expect it to stand. That's ridiculous. But I did want them to still be fairly firm. So I don't have enough of the blanket yarn to do all the legs. At least I don't think so. So I had some of this Premier Basics chenille in pewter. So it's a darker grey. And I combined that with a grey acrylic. This is probably a 10 ply or an Aran 4 weight, I think. So I combined the two of them, and that's what I've been working this in. And I think just by adding the acrylic, I think it's just helped to give it that bit more structure. So far so good. So now my plan is I might even attach some, I think I've got enough of the blanket yarn to do the top part of the legs. And I grabbed another couple somewhere. I grabbed another couple of the foam rollers, the foam inserts, because the legs come out a little bit wider. So I'm going to use those foam rollers just to help with a little bit of stability in there. And then I should be able to sew the legs on. And aside from adding the eyelash yarn and the eyes, I'll be done. It's so good. Yeah, and it is, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's working. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's working. So I'm feeling really motivated to push on with it because I want to see it finished. And yeah, but that's it. I will be back with 1 or 2 more updates and then we'll be done. So good. Right, we are definitely on the home stretch. I have finished the legs and I didn't have too much yarn left over either. I've sewn them together, or just joined them together with one of the tails, because I think it's just going to help with, it's just going to help me when I come to sew them on. They're too short to have the foam roller straight, so I've just doubled it over. I'm going to pop that in each one of the legs just to help a little bit with the shape. Pop the polyfill in there, and I think I might try and pin the legs in place so I get the placement right, and then sew them on, and we're so close to being done. It's awesome. I'm really happy with how the legs turned out. I think, you know, they look fairly realistic, and yeah, can't wait to show you when it's all done. So I just stumbled across something that turns out it's quite ingenious, really. I was looking for something else, and this is a benefit from being a serial crafter and just having lots of different things. I did find some florist sticks that I thought actually that might be good to pop in the bottom part of the legs. But then I came across just this really cheap little foam blocking board that came with a magazine quite a long time ago, and it had these little I think it's just plastic actually, it might be wood, I'm not sure. Either way, it came with these small bits of dowel. So I've actually popped, because it's almost exactly the right size, so I have popped the dowel into the bottom section of the legs. And as I said, I don't want it to stand, but it just gives it a lot of good stability. I just need to, this one seems fine, but I just might need to just add a little bit of extra yarn in there. I think I just want to make sure that that dowel doesn't poke through, but how good's that? So yeah, I do have quite a lot of supplies in my other room, and yeah, you just never know when you're going to need them. So I was really happy to stumble across that. Oh my gosh, it's finished. Now I changed my mind. I decided that I didn't like it with the foam nor the dowel in there. It was just making the legs a little bit too stiff, and they were wanting to sort of stick out, I guess. So I took it out, and you know, it was a bit of a mission to sew this and get the right placement and everything, but I got there in the end, and I quite like how his legs are just hanging there. Now I'm going to, I feel like his head is ever so slightly off center. I mean, it's okay, but I do think I'm actually just going to secure it a little bit more on one side. Love his little wings. Oh my gosh. Even just looking at him, I'm blown away. I'm so happy that it's, my vision has come to fruition, I suppose. I mean, if I was to be a little bit judgmental, I feel like the head shape is probably not quite as good as what I would like, but that's okay. I need to work out exactly what I'm going to do with that eyelash yarn. As I said, I do know I want some hanging there, definitely some hanging here. I've got the blue tinsel I need to add to it as well. And I need to consider what kind of eyes. I was actually thinking about maybe trying to crochet some brown eyes is what I'm thinking. But, oh gosh, he's the best, honestly. He's the best. I'm going to have to come up with a name for him, but Ernest, Edward, I don't know. He's so cool. He's so cool. Anyway, I'm going to, make a few adjustments, I think, to the neck. Have a play around with that eyelash yarn, and then also maybe have a play around with some cotton and see if I can potentially make some little brown eyes, but we'll see. I'll be back. Good morning. Now this is the current update. As you can see, I decided to embroider the eyes on because the cotton, I just didn't have the right colour, and it just wasn't really working. So I think these eyes are okay, particularly once I add a little bit of this on. I've just crocheted really quite randomly there, just crocheted a little bit of that blue tinsel there just to give him that little bit of a bluish chest. Again, probably not the exact colour I would have liked, but you know, you can only work with what's available. So all I need to do now is just add this, and I'm still, I'm just not certain how I'm going to do it yet. It's definitely going to be trial and error. So I will do that, and then I'll pop back on for the final reveal. Rightio, we are probably at least 5 or 6 days down the track. I had filmed a different ending, a different outro to this video, but I ended up changing his eyes. I embroidered them with blanket yarn, or a thin blanket yarn, and the more I looked at him, the more I didn't like the eyes. I just thought they were pretty harsh, really harsh. So I took them out, and then I just used cotton, and I did sort of my usual eye embroidery. I do have a tutorial on my channel, I can link it below. And they turned out a lot better. He does have little eyebrows as well, and I'm much happier with the result here. So he's done. I decided to not, I was initially, I think, planning on using a lot more of the eyelash yarn. Sorry, the birds are very noisy. I was going to use a lot more of that, but once I sort of did this little area here. Now, they don't have tails, but their feathers do tend to sort of hang down a little bit in this area, so that's why I popped that there. And I had initially thought that I would put more, I guess, on his body, but then you wouldn't see the faux fur yarn as much, and that's probably one of my favorite parts. So I decided to leave him just with the eyelash yarn on his head and down his neck, around his neck. Obviously I made the wings in that yarn, and then here. I'm really happy with how all of the different yarn, I've used faux fur yarn here. I've used a variegated blanket, and then Premier Basics chenille here. I've used the eyelash yarn and also this tinsel yarn as well. So but honestly, I couldn't be happier with how he turned out. As far as the, sorry about that banging, it's a beautiful breeze coming through. Now, I'm so happy with his legs. I really, really am. I think they look really realistic. They have 3 toes and the middle toe is the longest. So yeah, I'm just honestly thrilled with him. I do think that, you know, maybe some people are going to be interested in the pattern, but I'm so sorry. I may have said it before in the vlog. I've taken this footage over a number of days, so I can't recall what I said. But yeah, I was taking note and documenting of the pattern up until about here, but then once I got onto the part of doing his body and his belly, and it's just, yeah, it got too much, and I wanted to stay in that, I guess, creative process and just forge on with it without having to start. And I didn't also know where it was going, so I didn't know if it was going to turn out. And so my apologies if you're interested in a pattern. I'm very sorry, but I don't have one. But yeah, I'm stoked. I think I have decided that I'm going with Ed. He's just Ed. I think that really suits him. Yeah, Ed the Emu. And yeah, he'll probably, I think I'm just going to have to hang on to him. He's such a special make, and he's hard. It's hard to sit him down because of his legs, but he will sit if you can pop him on, you know, a bench or something like that. He will rest there just under that section. So anyway, Ed says thanks for being here. So do I. I do hope that you enjoyed a little bit of watching a little bit of my process. I know there wasn't a great deal of crocheting, but yeah, thanks for coming along on the journey, I guess. And I do hope that you will return and come along for another adventure, whether it's a vlog or a podcast or one of my crochet alongs. But thank you for being here, and bye for now. Bye from me.